What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the best players in each position under 400,000 coins, and as always the goalkeepers we kind of just run through. We've now got in there Casillas as the next budget up. I believe we did 300 last week or the week before, so go check that one out if you want to see the lower end. We're trying to kind of stay towards the higher as we kind of build the budget up. Goalkeepers, they do come and go, and to be honest, not really a massive price. The only kind of big one that, well, two big ones we're missing at the moment is Yashin and Van der Sar. The kind of extra budget with Casillas, I like the extra with him, but again with keepers, I wouldn't stress too much. You could get away with a gold Courtois, which is my keeper at the moment. You could go with a ter Stegen in form. You could even go with a Dudek, and also there is a UCL one coming, and it's why I've kind of put both together, because realistically that card is not going to be worth more than 400k. I just don't believe it. But it is a nice upgrade, and I must admit with Dudek this year, I feel like he feels a little bit better. Whether the keeper patch and all of the patch notes that we've got from yesterday change the keepers in any way, I know that I think it was the movement of the manual goalkeeping speed has changed, which might make some difference, but to be honest, I feel like a goalkeeper is as good as you're just going to get really nowadays. If you get somebody like a Van der Sar untradeable, fairs. If you get a Courtois, a Donnarumma, an Alisson, I realistically would stick with the keeper you get untradeable, and normally they tend to do pretty well, especially if they are on this list right now. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. So going from there, we've gone onto the centre-backs, because we normally go fullbacks, but you know what, we want to freshen it up a little bit. So in terms of centre-backs then, I've gone with a couple of SBC ones as well, just to let you know if you've gone there very well or not. I feel like two of the best gold cards you can physically get at the moment. Varane at 9k, that Anticipate Playstyle Plus is perfect. If you are looking for absolute dog cheap, that is the card you want to go for. If you go another gold cards, Virgil is just what everybody should have, and to be honest, from playing rivals, champs every week, everybody does have him, or at least it seems that way from whenever I play them. Normally it's a Virgil and a Blanc, a Virgil and a Marquinhos, a Campbell, a Maldini, and a Rejo. Everybody has Virgil as their centre-back because naturally he is one of, if not the most meta centre-backs you could physically get for the past 5 years, it seems. Honestly, Virgil is going to be with us and in our nightmares for a long time. Other centre-backs you can go with, though, in terms of SBCs, I must admit, I did enjoy a bit of Ledley King. Anticipate Plus, which seems to be a really good one to get on any centre-back, whether again that changes across kind of the board. Like how we've seen with the finesse shot, it has been nerfed a little bit. Not really got too into it to see how nerfed it is, but we know what EA do when it comes to reducing the amount of success or the effectiveness of a playstyle or of a movement. It does normally tank it down to the ground. Whereas Anticipate, we see it on Thiago Silva. A lot of people like Silva. A lot of people like Blanc. He has the same with Varane, same with King. They all have that Anticipate, and they all are welcomed in open arms. Same with Marquinhos as well. Actually, I didn't even know he had it, to be fair. We've been using his gold card quite a bit in the second account that I've got, but in terms of the normal 88, it's not a bad little upgrade. We also then have Gravado and also Skriniar from the brand new promo in Radioactive. Again, not necessarily the most terrible cards. They're just a little bit extra, with Gravado being in the actual team and Skriniar are available in SBCs at the moment. Could be good for the generic links if you are running kind of a very spread team. It's not a bad promo to get them sort of players where you can get them extra links in there. So it's just an extra little bonus for you. Tomori, always like him. He's always had fantastic pace. Same as Nkape. Lovely Bundesliga centre-back. He may start to go a little bit off it, but I do think the pace really kind of just helps in that little bit for the very lower end market. And obviously Sol Campbell, again, another great centre-back. Good pace. Physicality brilliant, lovely defending, a very solid centre-back that you can get. And then finally, Arejo does have a radioactive card that is amazing, but the Inform is still very good if you wanted to go for a lot cheaper end. Whether I'd put him in a right back, I think is very unlikely. but in terms of centre-back, he is absolutely golden. We then go into the fullbacks, and again, we've gone with more of a higher kind of variety of prices here, just because I feel like we want to be talking about the better cards as we naturally go up the budget. If we're going a million coin budget, what's the point talking about a 10k card? That is going to be in the under 100k, so this is obviously a very kind of different fullback sort of list, and I must admit, there is a lot of top-end fullbacks that are relatively cheap. I think Sakina is the most expensive at 376, I want to say, and we'll go around everybody. So back her straight off the bat. If you've not got her, that is a bit unfortunate, but we can still rectify that because she is insane. Genuinely insane. Sakina is definitely the kind of second to that. Most definitely a very good left back from the very start, with Team of the Week 1 in form, and then obviously getting herself a triple threat. We also then have Teo Hernandez from this week's or last week's Team of the Week, depending on when you're watching this. Lovely 280k card. Again, only a 1 increase, so whether you'd want to pay the full price for a dynamic, totally up to you, but again, it's always nice. If we then look at Robbo, another great card at 188, rapid on his playstyle plus, and that's the only thing Teo is missing, unfortunately. And finally, we have got Zinchenko as a radioactive card. Again, like Skriniar, like obviously Gravadal, good links if you wanted to make sort of a different hybrid team, but again, not necessarily the worst left back in the world. When we go over to the other side, Dodo is incredible. We've got him on the main account, I think. I'm pretty sure he's like a backup right back at the moment because we spent a lot of coins on Llorente, and he is staying until I literally get a player that is probably Team of the Year, because we spent a lot of coins on Llorente. We then have Cancelo, great Trailblazers from a long time ago now. Carvajal is a very cheaper option if you run in La Liga, and then also Mazzori as the Bundesliga radioactive card, which I do think is a fantastic build. Great pace, defend and physical could do with some work, but most definitely that is fine with the chem style. You go with an anchor, you go with a sentinel, anything to boost that up, you've got yourself a beautiful right back. Now moving on into the midfield then, so this is where we get a little bit testing for price, really. There isn't anybody between the 400 and kind of 0 that I'm like, you need to have this card. You can have a lot of these cards and still be fine. You could mix a De Jong and a Valverde, a Jude and a Valverde, an Essien and a Grace. They all link up really well. It all depends on your formation as well, depending on what you kind of go with. Are you looking for more box-to-box CDM? Are you looking for a cam, box-to-box CDM, a CDM, a cam? It all depends on what formation you run, and I would try and make it flow a little bit better, because what my problem was, and this was way back when, was just picking two random players together. They never complement each other. They normally are quite attacking, and naturally as we get to the end of the game, you'll find your Hullets and Vieiras, your Hullets and Matthiases, and because they're such high rated in every field, it works. When it comes to the lower statted ones, where you've got maybe 86 defending but only 75 shooting, you can't utilize them in the same way. So what I normally try and do is stick with a absolute bog standard 4-4-2 on my neutral attacking positions, and I'll have either a cam or a box-to-box. Normally the box-to-box wins there, and then a CDM. So at the moment I'm running Rijkaard, and then I'm also running an informed Bruno. Even though Bruno's not quite a box-to-box, Jude is there as a replacement if I need to, and then also Llorente can come out of right back, go into centre mid as more of a box-to-box if I wanted. So there's multiple ways to work it. If I was looking between them, Bonmati, a phenomenal statted card. Obviously go with the Shadow, absolutely brilliant. Essien is an incredible CDM. We used him, Makalele, Rijkaard. All three of them are absolutely brilliant, but I thought we'll just name one and then we can kind of mention the others as well. If we then look across the bottom, we got Grace, lovely Centurions card. We have Sabozalai and also Talisca as two more cam options in terms of radioactive. I've used Talisca a couple days ago, very decent on the ball. Again, maybe kind of more pushing forward into a striking role, but you could definitely get away with a cam. And I think Sabozalai as well, very underrated, 115k. Stats for a cam looking pretty decent. Box to box is pretty much not there with the 38 defending. You're not going to be able to get anything out of him in terms of defense. And then obviously Jude, always like a Jude card. Obviously he's got his player of the month as well, that might have run out by now. In fact, we will have a look and see if that did run out, because I feel like we got Griezmann and then we only had a couple of days left, if that. that SBC has expired. So it is now either the Inform or obviously the Trailblaze that you can go with. If we move up a little bit, we've got Fakir in terms of 370. And the one thing I do want to check then, if Bellingham's gone, oh, we've still got 8th to 12th, so we've got 2 more days of De Jong left. I think that's a fantastic card. If you're looking at a centre mid for an untradeable value, that's an easy one to get. Plus, the card looks phenomenal. And Valverde is just one that just still... It blows my mind the stats that he's got for just a centre mid. 88 on that pace. He now has an Inform and a radioactive version. The Inform's coming in at 440. If you're looking to spend the full budget of 400 on your cam or centre mid, in fact, that could be a card. And then also the radioactive is 2.4 mil. It gets quite difficult with the wing because I do think when it comes to wingers and also strikers, the kind of higher end pricing is probably in the 600 to 700k mark now. When it comes to wingers under, you could still get away with it. Don't get me wrong. You could definitely get away with a Neymar, Chiesa, Perisic, Cole. You can get away with any of these players, but I would suggest probably trying to put a bit more investment in them if you can. A lot of the time you've just got to pack them. It is as simple as that. I think left wing we have player of the month Son, right wing we have Garincha, both one SBC, one packed from an SBC. So it's not even if I've gone and paid for them. That is the hard part of obviously having coins. And also the big problem we've got at the moment, Finesse Shot Plus apparently has been nerfed massively. Whether we've seen it nerfed completely is going to be the big question, and we'll see over probably today's gameplay whether it is absolutely gone or has it just been slightly reduced. And I can imagine it probably has gone. That normally is the factor when EA try to tweak stuff. It just ruins it completely. So we might have a different style of what is meta nowadays, but we will see as we go forward, and obviously I'll make a full video based around that. But most of these wingers I'd use. Dembele is always a fantastic one. Rapid playstyle plus 5-5 down a wing. Even Joe Cole with his quick step. Not a bad card whatsoever. El Warren is one that I've not really kind of seen massively. Again, his price still, I'd say relatively cheap as well for what the card was last year. Maybe it's lost that sort of factor until he gets a playstyle and an upgrade. One that definitely did surprise me this year, John Barnes. What a fantastic card this is an SBC as well if you really wanted to, but then also you can buy them on the market if you didn't necessarily want to finish the SBC. In terms of pricing, we're looking at 135 for the actual card on the market and 185 for the SBC, so relatively cheap if you have struggled with getting a left wing or right wing completely. Perisic on there as well, not a bad card, most definitely decent pace, great stride forward, does have a bit of skill and weak foot, which is always nice as well, and I think for 200,000, not terrible on pricing either. Now going in on the strikers then, so straight off the bat, we've got a bit of Griezmann down here. Because if Finesse Shot Plus is completely gone, unfortunately the Player of the Month and the Inform have just lost massive value of what the card is. But we do have just over, so spare me that one, 417,000. We have a Griezmann with a Travella Playstyle Plus, which they didn't technically mention in the patch notes. Whether that's gone as well, but that could be another one that you could go with instead of the Finesse. So I thought, you know what, we'll put both of them in. It all depends on the level of patch that they've had. We also then have Aubameyang, very, very good card for 94k. I think that is a phenomenal value. Great pace, great shooting, dribbling's decent, a 4-4, good height. I mean, for 94,000, that isn't awful, especially as well, having them extra links for your League One team is another extra bonus. We then have a couple of heroes in Enzo, who I absolutely adored when he came out, and also Forlan. If you can't quite do, well, I don't even know if the Forlan SBC is still there now. Lots of things are running out, and most definitely, you've got to catch them when you can. That's still got to the 22nd of December, so loads of time to try and get his 89, but that is coming in at 603,000, which is crazy. Then we also have Govu as also a triple threat hero. Lovely hero. Love Govu. Always been a phenomenal one. And again, we love to see when they do get upgraded. And then finally, we have got some icons. Del P, beautiful card. Again, whether the finesse shot is going to be a massive factor, it could completely wipe out Delp, Raul. It could then go with any of the other finesse shots that I've completely forgot who's even got them, but they could be completely nerfed in terms of price. Whereas I think someone like a Drogba, very quick, very powerful going forward. Got a power header, so nothing too crazy on that playstyle plus, but a very, very good finisher. And I love Van Persie. I think with a Hunter, he is an absolute dynamite in the box. So let me know down below if there's anybody else under 400k you'd like to see. Diana as well, just a final mention, is just phenomenal, especially if you could get that Thunderstruck version. But apart from that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace!